Attention Christmas shopping procrastinators, head on over to deaditesondeck.com for the most unique horror and custom t-shirts, mouse pads, blended teas, candles, tote bags, and much more. And starting now until December 14th, save 10% off of your entire order with the promo code Merry Christmas.
Hey, gang, and let me get my stuff up here because, like I said last night, if you were watching me last night, I I always try to not have. This is hard to do whenever I'm looking at myself mirrored, and I was trying to get this hat, the Santa hat, all straightened up. So there we go. That's a little better. But I just totally. Oh, I was talking about my little lower thirds logo and banner and stuff like that. It covers up some things on my intros and stuff like that. So I have not been turning it on until I actually come on here. I hope it's not too distracting. If it is, y'all please let me know. You know, if anything that I try to enhance, stuff. But if it's too distracting, like to have the Evil Dead chick here all the time and stuff like that, and really, I can only have Evil Dead chick on here when I'm doing these streams by myself anyway, because otherwise, both of these things are going to be showing up on both people's um, setup, and it doesn't really make sense to have it on somebody else's, the Evil Dead chick. It's okay to have the Dead Ice on deck, but to me, not the Evil Dead chick. And I'm sorry if I seem a little out of it. My ear has been stopping up. I think it's to do with this sinus or cold or whatever it is. Steve's not feeling too hot either. So I don't know if we've got the same thing. We spread something to one another, or we just called it out when we went out and about. We've been going to restaurants and stuff. There's no telling what we may have come into contact with. As long as it's not COVID and as long as it goes away soon, I'm okay with that. But I still don't like feeling bad. So, anyway, I am going to try to get through this stream tonight. I'm feeling a little better, emotionally. I know that I seemed to kind of pop off the handle a little bit last night. I was just going through something, and I still want you guys and gals to tell me if there's something that I'm doing that you don't like, if there's something that you'd like me to cover that I've never covered and you'd like to see me cover it. If the stuff is all boring as all get out, please. Like I said before, and have said last night and before then, please let me know if you don't feel comfortable just getting in the chat and saying what you want to say. You can email me. I will put my email address in there. This is the email address. It's associated with my channel. It's associated with my shop. And you can, if you don't want to put it up here for everybody to see, if you just want this conversation to be between you and I, please email me and let me know. If you're my friend on Facebook, you can just drop me a message on there as well. Now, I may have to get up and let Darcy in, my little dog, one of my little dogs. But I'll try to get all this housekeeping stuff out of the way before I do that, and then we'll get into the movies. Okay. So I want to remind everybody, since this is a live stream, I'm still offering the promotion. If you give a $5 or more super chat, you can throw your hat in the ring to pick a film for the next time I do watch alongs. Okay. People haven't done that in a while. Now, this weekend, I'm doing a special holiday Christmas gift to the supporters of the channel watch along. Excuse me. Black Christmas, the 1974 Black Christmas, will be on tap for Saturday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday, December 15th, also at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, will be Don't Open Till Christmas. So you can look forward to both of those. But the next time I do watch alongs, if you want to give a $5 or more super chat on any of these live streams I do, and that includes watch alongs, you can throw your hat in the ring to pick one of the next watch along films. Okay. Also, from now until December 14th, I am having a 10% off your entire order at deaditesondeck.com. You don't have to have a minimum order. Like, it doesn't have to be $35 or more or anything like that. You can take 10% off of your entire order. Now, if you're still thinking about getting a Christmas gift for yourself or for a friend or family member, remember, it is a horror shop, but I do custom work, which means I can put family pictures on t-shirts and tote bags and mouse pads and hats and all that good stuff. I can also put pictures of your pets. I can put pictures of your grandbabies. I can put pictures of your kids, whatever you want. You know, if there's some horror character that I don't have a shirt for and you want to reach out to me, please, fill out the form. It's on the home page of the site, and just send me what you want. It will go straight to my email. In fact, the email that I just put in the chat, and I will get back in touch with you. And we'll see if we can make the magic happen. Okay. So I wanted to explain also that probably the latest I can take an order to get it, in order to get it to you by Christmas, would be December 14th. So that's when the promotion ends for the 10% off. I will be offering promotions later on in the coming year at different points in times. But this Christmas promotion will officially be over December 14th. And that's, by then, you need to get your orders in to me so that I can get them to you by Christmas. If you don't care if you get it by Christmas, then you can order anytime that you want. But I would advise everybody that's even thinking about it to get those orders in as quickly as you possibly can. Okay, so I'm going to take myself out of the stream for just a second. Don't anybody go away, because when I come back, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 Christmas horror films. If anybody comes in the chat and wants to talk about some of their favorite Christmas horror films, feel free. Hey, Victor. You say, hey, Dana, glad you like the calendar. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, and actually, I don't know if people can really, I'm hoping that they can see it. Maybe, well, my microphone might be covering it up a little bit too much, but I do have it hanging already here at my desk. I've got it on the September, October, November, December, so I can have the screen picture up there. Yes, that was a very nice calendar. I didn't even know they had those at Amazon, Victor. So thank you once again. Thank you, and Angie, for sending me that little gift. I was like, Steve, I was like, did you give me something else? And he's like, no. I said, well, most of the stuff that I order comes under Dana Estes, which is my maiden name. I need to change it over to Dana Benningfield, but some of my stuff is still in my maiden name, like my bank account and stuff. So I just don't want to cause any confusion um, with, um, my form of payment and all that. So, um, because I noticed that it came to Dana Benningfield, which is my married name. Um, and I was like, well, who else knows, that I go by Dana Benningfield? And it probably what happened is it showed up on any emails because my emails do show up Dana Benningfield. But again, Victor, Angie, thank you so very much for the calendar. I'm not against receiving gifts. I don't, and I'm not saying this is wrong that people do this, but I noticed some people say, send me stuff, send me free stuff. And I'm like, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. But if you feel so inclined and want to send me a Christmas gift, I'll gladly show it off on camera and thank you personally or publicly on here. So let me take myself out of the stream just 1 second and try to get Darcy in, and then we'll continue with these movies real quick. Okay. See if we can. Woo. I get this thing wrong every time. Like every time I take it off, I shouldn't have taken it off, should I? And then it's almost impossible. There we go. Because again, I'm looking at myself mirrored when I'm looking at myself on camera. So I'm flipping this thing around trying to get it to look right. Hey, Extra, hey, thank you. You say, yo, Dana, nice hat. Yeah, this is my holiday hat for the Christmas season. And all of a sudden, my voice is getting scratchy now, which I don't like either. I always said that probably means I'm been talking too much. But anyway, let's get to these movies before my voice goes all the way. But I thought of something else I wanted to remind everybody of. I am soon going to be putting and some people might think this is crazy or silly, but I'm going to be putting a virtual suggestion box video up. And what I want you guys and gals to do with that, and X-Ray, I know you asked about Sonny Chiba, and I've got to get together with Steve and see how many Sonny Chiba movies he's got, so I can watch as many of them as I can, so that I could do a good retrospective on him. So and I know those include the Kill Bill movies, which I have seen. But as far as other Sonny Chiba movies, I need to verse myself in Sonny Chiba. But what I want you guys and gals to do when that video is up, if you feel comfortable commenting publicly, I want you to put some suggestions in there. If there's a topic that I haven't covered that you'd like to see me cover, if there's even some stuff that you don't like about some of the streams and videos, say, hey, Dana, I know you tried hard, you tried your best, but that was just boring, and I'll go cry quietly in the corner, and then I'll be okay. No, I'm really not going to cry. But I want to, this is me, the owner of the channel, asking you what you guys want to see me talk about, or what you definitely don't want to see me talk about anymore, right? So my ear is still feeling stopped up. I hate that feeling. It makes me feel like I'm underwater or something and I'm talking. So anyway, that will be coming soon. If you don't feel like commenting publicly on there, then please, contact me at evil.dead.chick1976@gmail.com. That is the email that is in the chat right now. Okay. So without further ado, let's get to these movies. Now, I know. I talked about Black Christmas last night, but this one just happens to be one of my top 5 Christmas horror films. And keep in mind, these are in no particular order. They're just how I pulled them out of my stacks back there in the living room, because this has been my holiday watching piles. So, Black Christmas, for those of you that watched the Stocking Stuffers stream last night, or you watched it on the replay, I talked about this and talked about this and talked about my love of Black Christmas. So I'm not going to go overboard with that, but I just want to tell you guys and gals, the people that are in here now, the people that may watch this later, if you have not seen Black Christmas from 1974, you are missing out. You are missing out on one of the most creepy, crawly horror movies I have ever seen. And I don't scare easily. I don't get unnerved by films easily. And like I said last night, the first time I watched Black Christmas, it was under the title Silent Night, Evil Night. And I just thought it was a vulgar piece of crap. And I'm not a prude, but I don't know what was wrong with me. I think I was way too harsh on this movie, because I waited a while and I watched it under the title Black Christmas. Now, I don't think it had anything to do with the title change. I think it had to do with the atmosphere. So, because here's what happened. I was alone in my parents' living room. Mom and Dad were already asleep. My brother was asleep. I was sitting in the dark in the living room. The only light was coming from the television. And Mom and Dad's living room and their kitchen are in very close proximity. And the phone was in the kitchen. Okay. And anybody that's seen Black Christmas knows that the sorority girls in this movie are getting, it starts out obscene phone calls, and then it turns into something more sinister, where someone named Billy is talking in multiple voices. He's screaming at the top of his lungs. He's saying really bizarre things. He's talking about his sister Agnes, and he says, Agnes, it's me, Billy. Don't you tell what we did. He says that at different parts in the films, and you're like, what in the heck? Who is this guy? What is wrong with him? Why is he after these sorority sisters? And none of this stuff is answered. It's all left to us to try to decipher, which I think was genius on Bob Clark's part. Okay, so to get back to the phone calls. Because the phone was so close to the living room, I can guarantee you guys and gals, if that phone had rang one time, even half a ring, while I was watching that film, I would have jumped out of my skin. And you're talking to a person that has watched a ton of horror movies. But very few horror movies have affected me like Black Christmas. And some people might say, well, what about The Exorcist? Well, The Exorcist affected me on a different level, you know. But this Black Christmas goes back to the old urban legend of the babysitter and the man upstairs, which in our days of cell phones and stuff like that, it's not as effective, right? But like When a Stranger Called, which also plays on that urban legend and was after Black Christmas. You know, When a Stranger Calls is very effective and very unnerving to me. There's just something about the calls are coming from inside the house. The calls are coming from upstairs. You know, if it's a babysitter, oh my God, he's, slaughtered the children. And now he's coming after me. In this case, it's sorority sisters. And most of the girls have gone home for the Christmas holiday. There's a few girls hanging around through the holidays. And they're basically being stalked and murdered by this unknown person. We don't know anything about them other than we guess her name is Billy, that they had a family member named Agnes. Something bad happened. The character talks in the voices of a mother and father as well. They say, what your mother and I must know is, what did you do with the baby, Billy? And then the voice gets deep. Where did you put Agnes, Billy? And it's just, I don't know. It's just so very unnerving. It's like, oh my God, what is going on? What's going to happen next? And the tension just keeps building and building and building until there's one sorority girl left. And I'm going to read your comment here in a second, X-Ray, until it reaches a crescendo. And that is when one girl is left and she gets a call from the cops and they say they've traced the call. The calls are coming from inside the house. The caller is inside the house. So what does the final girl do? She goes upstairs to look for her friends. We know they're dead, and she has to know they're dead, right? Because this guy's been creeping around up there for God knows how long. And we know since the beginning of the movie, right? And she goes up there, but one of the most iconic shots of the movie happens when she gets upstairs. She opens the door to, I think it's Barb's room, played by Margot Kidder. And Barb and Phil are dead. Phil, played by Andrea Martin. And then she hears a voice saying, Agnes, don't you tell what we did. And she looks, and through the crack of the door, you can see one single eye. That is one of the most iconic shots I've ever seen in my life. And it's so effective. You're like, oh my God, he's going to kill her for sure now. Where is she going to go? How is she going to get away? She slams the door on him. And he screams, he's enraged. You see his legs as he's coming down the steps. She runs to the door, runs back. He grabs her by the hair and she screams, barricades herself in the basement. He's hurling all of his weight. You hear him, you know, and you're thinking, oh my God, if he gets in there, what is he going to do to her? And then we hear him go outside. Okay. So, um, such a very effective film because, like I said, the tension builds and builds and builds to a crescendo, and then you have all out chaos, right? And just when things have calmed down and the final girl is sedated, the cops and everybody leave her alone. Even the doctor leaves her alone with a cop outside. You know, they assume that this one person that's now dead is the killer. We're not so sure. And we're definitely sure that that person that's dead is not the killer because we hear some mumblings coming from up in the attic. And nobody thought to look up in the attic. And that's where Claire, the first sorority girl that gets killed, is at, with the plastic bag still over her head, sitting in the rocking chair, cradling the baby doll. And the house mother, Mrs. Mike, we know she got hooked earlier and drawn up into the attic. She's still hanging around. And Billy is still up there in the attic talking to himself and singing to himself very eerily. And then we go to the outside of the sorority house where the cop's standing on the porch. And we hear the phone start ringing. And we think, oh no, does that mean that he's killed the final girl? Because after he kills someone in the movie, he made a call every time he killed somebody. Okay. X-Ray said they never explain who the maniac is or his motives. He could be supernatural for all we know. Yeah, exactly. We just don't know, and that makes it even more frightening. You say also the Canadian police force is worse than the ones in Last House on the Left. I don't know if they're that bad. The ones in Last House on the Left are pretty bad. But they are incompetent on some levels. Probably John Saxon's character is probably the best of the bunch. But I know I talked a lot about this last night and I talked a lot about it tonight, but I'm feeling a little better tonight. And so I kind of wanted to touch on some things that I didn't quite touch on. John Saxon was too busy being dreamy. Yeah, maybe so. But anyway, that's Black Christmas. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is Christmas Evil. And this was a movie I did not know about for a long time. Y'all be sure to tell me if you caught this one early on. This is a movie I didn't even know existed for the longest time. And I really want to say that the reason I came across it was a blind buy. I saw, ooh, another Christmas horror movie I haven't seen, and just blind bought it. But it's also known under the title You Better Watch Out. And it stars Fiona Apple's father, for those of you that remember Fiona Apple, the singer. And that's the character of Harry. And John Waters said this is the greatest Christmas movie ever made, in his opinion. Yeah, I would agree with you on that point, X-Ray. You say Christmas Evil is my favorite. To me, it's more of a dark character study than a slasher. And you say that movie is a better version of Joker, but about Santa. Interesting, X-Ray. I never looked at it that way. So when Harry was a little boy, and Harry's the main character, the adult version of Harry is played by Brandon Maggart. That is Fiona Apple's father. So when Harry was a little boy, he just absolutely idolized Santa Claus and he believed in him. And he was the older of the two brothers. His younger brother said, Harry, you're crazy. There's no Santa Claus. That was Daddy dressed as Santa Claus. And Harry, refuses to believe him. So Harry sneaks back about halfway downstairs a little later that night because he wants to catch Santa Claus. And what does he see? He sees Santa Claus kissing Mommy, but not on her mouth. And that's as far as I'm going to go with it. And that evidently traumatizes Harry for the remainder of his life. Because we see Harry run all the way up the steps to the attic or to his room or whatever, and he breaks a snow globe and it cuts his finger or cuts the palm of his hand. And then we switch to the adult version of Harry, played by Brandon Maggart, and his brother is played by Jeffrey DeMunn, who I think Jeffrey DeMunn is excellent in this as well. Him and Brandon Maggart really play off each other really, really well. Yeah, it has a genuine, creepy, sleazy atmosphere. I agree with that too. This was directed by Lewis Jackson, came out originally in 1980. And this was a movie, though, that I'm not sure why it slipped under the radar. But it has essentially a killer dressed as Santa Claus, a killer who believes he is Santa Claus. But it didn't get run out of theaters. It didn't get run out of town or anything like that. I'm going to have to take that slip cover off of that one because that might get me kicked off of YouTube or get this this stream banned. But unlike Silent Night, Deadly Night, which came later, I don't think this got any flack. Nobody was outraged about this movie. But Harry grows up to become a very, we find out he is very disturbed. And like X-Ray said, this essentially is a character study more than it is anything, like a psychological character study. And of a man's slow descent into madness. And he believes that he is Santa. Now, when the movie first starts with showing Brandon Maggart as Harry, we see that he has, Christmas pajamas. I guess he sleeps in them all year round. He has a Christmas type of alarm clock by his bed. It's just very weird and bizarre. And there's never been any character, for me anyway, in any other movie, Christmas or otherwise, that has been like this. I think Brandon Maggart really captured a man in the throes of madness who is descending into complete madness, where we're not sure what he's going to do next. Okay. He actually keeps a book of good girls and boys and bad girls and boys. And there is this kid named Moss Garcia who likes to look at Penthouse magazine. He tells Harry that he'd like to have a lifetime subscription to Penthouse magazine. This is a little boy saying this stuff. He looks all of, like 8 or 9 years old. And his mother is, just shy of being abusive to him. I mean, she is abusive to him. She slaps him very hard across the face at one point. And And X-Ray hit the nail on the head when he was talking about a sleazy atmosphere, because you've got Harry and you've got his mental issues, and then you've got Jeffrey DeMunn, who, I know he's married to his wife and all that stuff, but those two cannot keep their hands off each other. They're always, getting naked and doing it everywhere. And they've got two young boys, and don't they even think that the kids could come, because they're on the couch, heading towards sexual activity at one point. And it's not like they're in a bedroom locked behind closed doors. And then they're messing around in the middle of the morning. Um, and I'm like, okay, this is, it's okay for married couples to do that, but there's just a kind of a real thin layer of sleaze to that, I thought. And also, Harry is one of these people that he's put upon by. Um, he works at a toy factory, and he used to be on the line actually putting the toys together and stuff. And now he's moved up to a management position, which he doesn't really like, but it's what he does. Um, so this one guy cons him into going back on the line. He says he wants to leave early for vacation, and he says, "Yeah, you'll work my shift for me, won't you, Harry?" And then Harry finds him at a bar when he leaves work late, and he said, "Yeah, I got that schmuck Harry working for me." Shouldn't do that to Harry, because Harry goes home and he's like, you can just see he's just seething with anger. And he doesn't think that the people that he works with care anything about making quality toys for kids, or anything like that. And a lot of these people become victims of Harry's wrath. Anybody that mocks Santa Claus is subject to Harry's wrath. Anyone that doesn't want to provide quality toys for kids will suffer Harry's wrath. Well, Jeffrey DeMunn's okay. I wouldn't say as you say, X-Ray, that I've got the vapors for him, but I like Jeffrey DeMunn as an actor. Um, but you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about there. Um, but the movie gets ever darker as it goes on. When the movie starts, there's a little bit of a lightheartedness to Harry, but it becomes very dark very quickly, and then just descends into complete darkness. X-Ray, you make me laugh. Um, so anyway, if you've never seen Christmas Evil, I would encourage you to watch it. Not necessarily for the slasher aspect of it, because, like I said before, I agree totally with X-Ray in that it is more of a character study than it is a quote unquote slasher. But a very good horror film to add to your repertoire of horror films for the Christmas holiday season, or any season if you want to. I'm afraid Santa Claus versus Satan is not on my list, X-Ray. Sorry about that. X-Ray, you say it's the ultimate Christmas movie. It really is what the holiday is all about. So we'll go on to the next one, which is the one I had to take the slipcover off because it might get me in trouble with YouTube. And that's Don't Open Till Christmas. This is the original cover that I remember seeing, which I like very much. You got the knife going into the Christmas package. There's blood splattered around. You see a little bit of the Christmas tree there. And then the title, Don't Open Till Christmas. And this will be Sunday's watch along movie. Black Christmas will be Saturdays. This will be Sunday. Both starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time, folks. So Don't Open Till Christmas is, I still love it, but it's a little bit of a confusing, jumbled mess. And the main reason behind that is that Edmund Purdom is listed as the director from the Immortal Pieces. And it is said he either walked off the set or he was fired. Because I think this was the first movie, horror or otherwise, that he had ever directed, and he didn't really know what he was doing. So I guess Edmund Purdom was more of an actor than he was a director. So I believe Joe Bob said there were 4 different directors attached to this film. So once Edmund Purdom was off the set, they kind of had to work around it because he also acted in the movie. So when basically one of your main characters is gone, what are you going to do? So that's, for those reasons, I think that's why this movie feels a little disjointed, a little of a bit of a confusing mess, but I still like it. It's kind of role reversal here. A lot of these Christmas horror movies, if they have a Santa Claus in them, the Santa Claus is the one that's doing the killing, or the person dressed as Santa Claus is doing the killing. In this one, the killer is killing people dressed as Santa. So you don't want to be caught in this movie wearing a Santa Claus outfit. It doesn't matter if you're a chestnut vendor dressed as Santa Claus, or you're a Santa Claus that, was going to let kids sit on your lap and tell you what they want for Christmas, and you give them candy cane or, whatever other kind of candy, or a fruit or whatever. And keep in mind that this is an English film. So they may refer to Santa Claus as Father Christmas at certain times, and he may look a little differently dressed at certain points in times than the Santa Claus that we're used to seeing in the United States, right? But I really like the atmosphere of Don't Open Till Christmas. I like the way the killer is portrayed in this. I even like the fact that they don't keep the killer hidden for too long. About midway through the movie, it's revealed who the killer is. And so that kind of was a refreshing change. Some people might not like that. They might say, well, I wanted to wait till the end to figure out who the killer was. Which that is, that's perfectly fine. And what else do we have in this? Right. So we have the chestnut vendor Santa getting his face burned off. We have one guy getting his brains shot out. We have one guy getting his penis cut off as he's taking a pee. So you have somebody get stabbed. Yeah, just a variety of killings in this. And you have Miss Caroline Munro. Why, I don't know, but it's great in and of itself, doing a song and dance number, Warrior of Love. It just smack dab in the movie with the sole purpose, I guess, of this Santa getting killed and showing up on the stage with Caroline Munro and her screaming. I guess that's, Caroline Munro's fantastic. I love her, but what in the hell was this dance number doing in here? I don't know. I have no clue. I think they just wanted to put Caroline Munro in there. But if you haven't seen Don't Open Till Christmas, like I say, or like I always try to say on these things, try to find a for free version if you don't own these. Okay. I don't want anybody going out and spending their hard-earned money on these things, and then they say, well, that was a piece of crap. Why did I spend my money on it? Oh, yeah, Dana told me to. No, Dana doesn't want to tell you to do that. Dana's just talking about movies that she likes for the Christmas season. So, unfortunately, I can't show you the slipcover, so I'm going to lay that back over there. So, the next or the last two are from the same franchise, and you may be able to guess what these are. So, the first one is the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, Naughty. Right, and there is Billy. We have another killer named Billy in Silent Night, Deadly Night. So, what happened to Billy to make him go berserk on Christmas? Well, you talk about sleazy. This one's sleazy too, folks. So, when Billy was a little boy, they went to see his grandfather in the mental hospital, sanitarium, whatever you want to call it. And Grandpa seems catatonic. He just stares straight ahead. The doctor takes the parents away and leaves little Billy alone with Grandpa. Grandpa comes to life like Frosty the Snowman. You know, he gets a glint in his eye and stuff like that. And Billy starts to holler for his mom and dad. And he's like, what do you want them for? You know, and Grandpa's a little crazy. He would not be in this place, I guess, if he wasn't. And he says, you know, do you know what Santa does, boy? And he says, yeah, he brings presents to all the good girls and boys, and he's just so innocent. And his grandpa says, yeah, but your daddy told you that, didn't he? And he goes on to tell Billy, if you see Santa tonight, boy, you better run. You better run for your life. Because Santa Claus only brings nice things to kids that have been good all year. The other ones, the naughty ones, he punishes them. Okay, so you've got this, and then they get back in the car. Billy starts trying to tell him that Grandpa talked to him and said that Santa Claus was going to punish him tonight, and you know, his mother gets frustrated and says, Grandpa's just a crazy old fool. And Billy's shocked. He says, Mommy, you shouldn't say bad things about old people or Santa Claus will punish you. Okay. So meanwhile, we see a guy dressed in a Santa outfit who robs a store and kills a clerk. And then he, you know, he's probably stolen a car too. The car breaks down on him. And who comes along but Billy and his family? His mom, dad, his little baby brother, Ricky. And they see this guy and they think he's, you know, must be coming from a Christmas party. And he, this guy dressed as Santa Claus kills Billy's father in front of them all. The mother is trying to get out of the car. We're led to believe that she is assaulted by the Santa Claus and also beat and has her throat slit. All in front of Billy, meanwhile, who has left his poor baby brother Ricky in the car, but has ran out in the weeds, and he's hiding in the weeds on the side of the road. And Santa Claus, the guy dressed like Santa Claus, where are you, you little bastard? And, you know, if he had found him, he's not going to have any mercy for kids. It's 1,000 wonders he didn't kill baby Ricky, right? So then Billy and Ricky get sent to a Catholic orphanage, a very sadistic Catholic orphanage led by the Mother superior who is sadistic in her own way, right? And she likes to whip these little boys and likes to whip older kids too when they're doing things that they shouldn't be, when they're being naughty. So not only was Billy subject to a horrific crime where he saw his parents murdered, but now you got this Mother Superior saying, "You've been naughty, Billy. Now I got to punish you." So it just keeps getting reinforced. So Billy grows up. He gets a job working at Ira's Toys, this toy shop. Everything's okay until the Christmas season comes. And guess what? Billy is asked to play the store Santa because the store Santa broke his ankle ice skating. Okay. So Billy flips out. He's got a crush on this girl he works with. And he sees her almost get assaulted by another person they work with. And he kills the guy. And then I guess he expects Pamela, the girl he likes, to say, "Oh my gosh, thank you for saving me from this guy that was going to do terrible things to me." But she said, "Get away from me. You're crazy." And so he kills Pamela. And then he kills the store owner, and he kills the store owner's assistant. And then he goes on a complete rampage around the town and eventually makes his way back to the orphanage where he plans to take out Mother Superior. Okay. So, yeah, it's sleazy, but oh my gosh, it's entertaining too. And you get to see Linnea Quigley running around topless for you guys that like that sort of thing. And I would imagine you would. And get to see her speared on deer antlers. I kid you not. Topless Linnea Quigley speared on deer antlers. Victor, you say Grandpa is great. Silent Night, Deadly Night is so subversive. A true holiday classic. Right up there with the Charlie Brown Christmas and It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, like just on a different level, as far as the horror level. All right, so this brings me to my final one of the night, which I said it was going to be part of the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise. This is Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, Garbage Day, folks. One of the most iconic lines ever is Garbage Day, right? Everybody talks about Garbage Day now. But when I first saw this movie, I ended up renting both of these films the first time I watched them. And I thought Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 was going to be like Silent Night, Deadly Night. But no. First of all, somebody had the crazy idea that we're going to use the majority of the film Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then we're just going to put little parts with Ricky, the baby brother of Billy, in here, who has decided that he wants to take out Mother Superior. She didn't get taken out by his brother. He's going to pick up where his brother left off. And he's even crazier than his brother is, or was. And I think this movie tried to be over the top. I think that's what it was going for. And it succeeds in a lot of ways. And I just have a lot of fun with it every time I watch it. Now, the first time I watched it, I was like, what the heck? This ain't like Silent Night, Deadly Night at all. It's just, it's so over the top and crazy. And I don't know if Eric Freeman, who plays Ricky in this, and his incredible eyebrows, and if you don't know what I mean by the eyebrows, just watch the film. And I don't think Eric Freeman knew for a long time that this was basically a cult classic, right? But I don't know if it was just that he wanted to play it over the top, that the director told him to play it over the top, or he was just not a seasoned actor, and that's how he, portrayed the character of Ricky, right? So, you wouldn't even really have to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night. You could watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 and basically get two films in one, right? And people that have seen both of the movies, you know exactly what I'm talking about there. But, to me, it's like peanut butter and jelly. You can't have Silent Night, Deadly Night without having Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. You just can't. At least not in my household. So generally what I do when I watch Silent Night, Deadly Night, I turn right around and watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. It's, they fit together so perfectly. I mentioned peanut butter. They fit together just like peanut butter and chocolate, like a Reese's peanut butter cup. Okay. And this one, you get the darker side of it, and you get a over the top, slightly comedic turn of events with this one. Okay, gang. I've been on here almost an hour total, but I want to thank X-Ray and Victor and everybody else that was watching. I know we had pretty good numbers for most of this one, and I want to thank everybody that showed up, even if you weren't chatting. But I'm thankful for the chatting with X-Ray and Victor. It made this more fun than just me talking. So I don't hold me to this, folks, but I'm planning on doing an apples and oranges tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, talking about Christmas comedies or Christmas horror versus Christmas comedies. Which do you like better and why? So if I do that, I hope that, my ankle, I shouldn't have done that. My ankle is still sore where it kind of, I collapsed and, well, I didn't collapse, but my ankle gave out on me on Thanksgiving Day as I was leaving the house. And still, if I bend it a certain way, it hurts. And that's what I did. It's getting better, but I think it's going to take a little while longer before it quits hurting if I bend it a certain way. So sorry about that. If I do that tomorrow, I hope that you guys and gals will join me for that. If you can't join me live, you can watch it on the replay. But again, I want to thank everybody that showed up, everybody that will watch this on the replay. And I guess that's it for me. And I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. And a little extra message for the holiday season I've been trying to add is if you've had issues or disagreements with friends or family members this year, now is the time to extend the olive branch, extend a kind word, extend kindness, because no one's promised tomorrow. We are not promised a tomorrow. So mend those fences, mend those bridges, folks. At this time of the year, it's more important, I think, than any other time of the year. It's always good to extend the olive branch and forgive and try to mend those bridges and fences. But at the holiday season, when unfortunately some people suffer from more depression and anxiety, just choose to be the bigger person, right? And if both people choose to be the bigger person, that's even better. But just choose to be the bigger person this year, and reach out to somebody that you've had a disagreement with. All right. And say, hey, I've thought about it, and, let's try to see if we can fix things between us. But I'll get off my soapbox now, folks. I'm out of here for the night, but I'll see everybody next time.